December 13, looking at things inside out. Today's reading comes from 1 Samuel chapter 16, verses 6 through 7 and 10 through 12. When Jesse's sons arrived, Samuel took one look at Eliab and thought, "Surely this is the Lord's anointed." But the Lord said to Samuel, "Don't judge by his appearance or height, for I have rejected him." The Lord doesn't see things the way you see them. People judge by outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. All 7 of Jesse's sons were presented to Samuel, but Samuel said to Jesse, "The Lord has not chosen any of these." Then Samuel asked, "Are these all the sons you have?" "There is still the youngest," Jesse replied, "but he's out in the fields watching the sheep and goats." "Send for him at once," Samuel said. "We will not sit down to eat until he arrives." So Jesse sent for him. He was dark and handsome with beautiful eyes, and the Lord said, "This is the one, anoint him." It sort of went together like peanut butter and jam. God spread out all the land around Jericho for his people, and now his people wanted him to spread out a king's robe for them. So God gave them what they wanted, a king. But the first king, Saul, turned out not to want much of God after all. So God sent Samuel, a man who loved him, to go find another king he had picked out, one of Jesse's 8 boys in Bethlehem. Daddy Jesse nudged his oldest son with the big broad shoulders, the one who was tall enough to play basketball, and the boy stood grinning right in front of Samuel. "Well, surely," thought Samuel, "surely he looks like he could carry a big sword and wear a big dazzling crown. He has to be the one whom God has seen as a king." But the Lord gently drew near to Saul. "But look here, I don't see the way you see. You people look on the wrapping paper on the outside, but I look on the gift inside, the heart." "Huh," thought Samuel. But Samuel wasn't alone in seeing how things look on the outside. Grannies and truck drivers and little kids and all of us, we look at the way things seem on the outside. But God looks at the way things really are on the inside. It's sort of like a sandwich. God doesn't care about the bread of the sandwich. God cares about what's in the middle. Do you know what the laziest part of your whole beautiful body can be? Not your toes, not your belly button, but your eyes. It's like all of us need to do eye exercises every day, giving our eye muscles to see things the way they really are. But you know the very best exercise for your eyes? To walk with Jesus. When you walk with Jesus, your eyes do the most miraculous things. Your eyes go around turning everything inside out. You start to see the realest, most wondrous things. People aren't really bodies, they are really hearts. For all our skin, people are really souls. So Samuel tried to see the way God sees. Daddy Jesse nudged his next son in front of Samuel. But no, Samuel shook his head. The next son, and the next son, and the next son, until there were no more sons left. Samuel was still shaking his head no. "So, how about any more sons?" "Well, there's the kid brother," Daddy Jesse sighed, "but he's a sheep watcher and a goat herder, and he's a pretty puny too." Ah, Samuel remembered. People care about the wrapping paper on the outside, but God cares about the gift inside, the heart, which can wrap like love around everyone. "Go holler for him," Samuel said. "We aren't eating a crumb till we meet the kid most people would forget." And when the little brother, David, the sheep watcher and goat herder, and puny kid brother came running in from the fields, Samuel exercised his eyes and imagined turning him inside out so he could see his heart. David's heart was far more beautiful than what people could see with their eyes. And God said, "This is the one I picked to be king." And long after that forgotten little son of Jesse was anointed king in Bethlehem, there was another unseen one born in that very same little town of Bethlehem. One who was left out with the sheep because no one made room for him either. Jesus was the most beautiful one who came down so our ugly hearts might become beautiful in God's eyes. Can you see it right now? Like you can almost see beyond the wrapping paper everywhere to all the gifts inside. Those gifts are inside all of us, our hearts, shimmering like stars. What kind of heart did David have? And what's one thing you can do to have the kind of heart you'd like to have?